Hi, it's Nick from the Run Testers, and this is our review of the Puma Liberate Nitro. The Liberate Nitro is part of Puma's new range, obviously. It's the cheapest shoe in the range at £90 or $110, and it's also the lightest shoe. It's a really stripped back, kind of lightweight shoe, very flexible, very nice, and it comes in basically, I guess, as a kind of an all-rounder option beneath the Velocity Nitro, which is a kind of, I think, a very versatile shoe, but it's a much more cushioned, more comfy shoe. And then the Deviate Nitro, which has a carbon plate in it, and that, again, is kind of meant to be used for training, but it's tilted towards kind of more fast training. Again, probably a bit more of an all-rounder, but I think all three of them are actually quite good all-rounder options, and I'm including the Liberate Nitro in that as a great shoe for people who like really lightweight, fairly simple shoes. So this is 193 grams or 6.8 ounces in my UK size 9. I think it's the lightest shoe I've actually run in for quite a long time. It's got, a fairly pared back upper, as you'd expect for such a light shoe. A nice monomesh, breathes well, a nice fit around the front, and not much kind of padding around the heel here. We are unfortunately going to be talking about heel padding again with a Puma with this shoe. There's kind of a little strip inside, but not much in the top here at all. In the midsole, you've got Puma's new Nitro Foam, which is a nitrogen-infused EVA. We've liked it on the Deviate Nitro, we've liked it on the Velocity Nitro. It's a really good new foam. It's a little bit softer than other kind of nitrogen-infused EVA foams I've used, like Brooks's DNA Flash, but there's still kind of plenty of response there, even with a relatively small amount of the foam on the shoe compared to something like the Velocity Nitro, which also has a layer of, I think, an EVA foam to kind of add to the kind of stack and comfort of that shoe. On the outsole, we've got a Puma Grip outsole, which is another new thing from Puma this year that I've really, really liked. All the shoes have got Puma Grip have performed really well for me. The tread looks like it wears very slightly when you first use it, but it doesn't really wear any more than that. I think it is quite hard wearing, and it's certainly very good at gripping. I've used the shoe on kind of lots of wet runs. I've even taken it into the forest near me after wet days when it's not completely rock solid in there on the trails, and it grips really nicely. I think this is a really good outsole material, and it's on the shoe, and it's quite impressive that there is such a decent covering of rubber there, considering the shoe is under 200 grams. So yeah, all in all, we've got kind of a pared back addition to Puma's range, a nice lightweight shoe to go with other great shoes like the Velocity Nitro and Deviate Nitro. Let's see how the Liberate Nitro got on. In terms of fit, true to size in this shoe, it's the same size I wore in the Velocity Nitro and the Deviate Nitro. No problems at the front, plenty of nice kind of room around the toe box there, and easy to get a nice tight fit around the midfoot. Problems at the heel, we might talk about them now, we'll talk about them in the running section, but yeah, this will start to rub on long runs. So the Liberate Nitro wasn't actually a shoe I was planning to test. We've obviously got the Velocity Nitro in and the Deviate Nitro, and on those videos and several others there were so many comments saying how great a shoe this is. We kind of felt obliged to get it in and give it a go, and I can see what all the fuss is about. This is a really fantastic shoe, especially considering it is so cheap. Done kind of 75k in it across a mix of runs, and I think overall impression that this is a shoe that a lot of people should consider. It's a really fantastic shoe, but it's not going to suit everyone down to the ground, and myself, there's some problems with it. That means it doesn't really work perfectly for me. The ride is really nice. It's almost like a souped up plimsoll. It's got kind of very soft, flexible feel, but you get a really nice amount of feel for the ground, despite the fact this is a reasonably soft foam. It's nice and responsive. You can pick up the pace anytime you want, but actually it is comfortable to use for kind of longer runs in terms of the underfoot feel. Like, if there weren't some problems around the heel, I think this is a shoe that I'd happily knock out fairly long, easy runs in. But yeah, it's also got the snap there for kind of faster stuff. I think when it does come to fast stuff, the experience I've had with it is it's really great for kind of short, sharp stuff. I think it'd be good for interval sessions, blasting out kind of, even slightly longer reps. But when it comes to maybe longer tempo runs, hard race efforts of kind of 10k and above, or similar, those kind of paces, I think this amount of foam, it just bottoms out a little bit. I don't get enough back from it that I would like compared to some other shoes that I'd use for those kind of distances. I think actually the Velocity Nitro is a nice shoe for longer sessions, but it's just certainly got pop and pace here that it's a great, I think, short distance racing shoe, great for kind of quick interval sessions, even going down the track. I'd also say on longer runs, I think it took a little bit more out of me than other shoes like the Velocity Nitro. It's not a huge amount of cushioning, there is a fair amount there, but yeah, if I did do a long run with a bit of hard work in it, I feel like my legs are a bit more tired in the shoe, but again, might be all in my mind. I don't think it's an uncomfortable shoe. I think you can do those longer efforts in, but just maybe, again, there's slightly better options out there. And that's also true for another reason, which is every time I kind of went out for over an hour in this shoe, I started to get a little bit of heel irritation from this kind of collar design. It's almost exactly the same as I had with the Deviate Nitro, which has a similar design to it. runs up to that distance, so kind of, 10k runs, anything like that, stopping at about 45 minutes, didn't really notice anything, but once I was there for kind of past an hour, or doing 2 days in a row in the shoe of over kind of 50 minutes to an hour, just started to rub on the Achilles a little bit. And obviously there's potential there for that irritation to grow and grow or get worse. I wouldn't want to do like hour and a half, 2 hours in this shoe. I just start to get a bit more irritation. So I think that is a slight problem with it. So basically when I'm marathon training, as I am now, all of my runs are probably an hour kind of minimum, or maybe not all, but basically 6 out of 7 runs I'll do in a week will probably be an hour long. And I just wouldn't want to reach for the shoe for that. I think I'd want a little bit more cushioning, and I'd want the guarantee of no heel irritation, and this would always worry me. But I had a period when I was using the shoe after a race, and I was just doing shorter runs. I was just going up to kind of 5 miles, 10k each day. And it was great for that. Kind of whatever pace you're doing for those runs, this covers them really nicely. Had no problems with cushioning, had no problems with heel irritation, so it fitted really well for that. So I do think there's kind of, if you're a runner like me who doesn't tend to err on the longer side of it, log higher mileage, I'm not like a high mileage runner by any means, but I do log kind of 70, 100k a week. I'd go for something like the Velocity Nitro, a bit more cushioning. I'd rather have that extra level of kind of foam underfoot plus more padding around the collar. But if you are more likely to be heading out things like 5k, 10k, this is a great shoe, and you might not need the extra cushioning on the Velocity, and you might enjoy the really lightweight, snappy feel of the Liberate Nitro. So, verdict on Liberate Nitros, it's another very, very strong new shoe from Puma and the new range. It's got this problem here around the heel. I think it's less of a problem maybe on this shoe compared to the Deviate Nitro, which is more expensive, probably being picked up by people who really plan to use it for lots of running, kind of, maybe even long races, because it has got that carbon plate in it. This is a much simpler shoe, it's cheaper, and it does a really great job of knocking out your kind of daily training miles. Maybe all of them, no matter what kind of runner you are, but for me, I would prefer a bit more kind of cushioning underfoot for my kind of daily training, and I do have that worry about the heel if you are regularly doing long runs. I just couldn't find, even with heel locking or anything like that, a way to stop that happening once I did go a certain distance or time in the shoe. So yeah, there's a very clear case saying if you are not doing that, if you're not worried about that, then I would pick up the Liberate Nitro. It's very cheap, it's very good value, and you are getting a really nice shoe here. It should hold up quite well in terms of durability as well, because the outsole is really good. I've not seen any kind of real problems with the Nitro foam degrading in any of the shoes I've used it. I haven't lost any sense of the ride in the Velocity Deviate or indeed this shoe yet. I haven't gone past 200k in any of them, so it's still reasonably early days, but yeah, I think it's going to be a reasonably hold up quite well for a £90 shoe, and it's a really fun, nice ride. It's got, it's a great shoe. Competitors, there is obviously the Reebok Forever Float Ride Energy 3. I might not have got that wrong, but anyway, the Forever Energy 3. It's in my house. I can see it. It's over there. You can't see it, but I'm about to go and the plan is to kind of basically just do a week in it, kind of do all my runs in it, see what it's like. That's a bit cheap. It's £75 RRP, often reduced further. Loads of love for it out there. I haven't tested it yet, but I will say this is a great shoe. If that's better, then amazing. And then at around the £100 mark, there is the Velocity Nitro from Puma, which I do think is probably a slightly more, it's a kind of more robust all-round shoe, a bit more cushioning, a little bit more stuff on the outsole, much more padding around the collar, and that might suit people better if they're looking at things like marathon training, I'd say. And it's only £10 more. It's also a really good value shoe. The other thing to say was, if you really love the sound of the Liberate Nitro, but are a bit worried about those longer runs and the heel issue, there is the New Balance Fuel Cell V2. I think it's £120, which is also really light. It's just over 200 grams for me. It's got a bigger stack of foam. I found it more protective, more comfortable to use on longer runs. Like I've done even slow recovery runs for an hour in that shoe and really enjoyed them. It doesn't have any heel irritation as well, which is key. And I think it's probably a tad more versatile. I think even though it did start to bottom out on me when I was pushing the pace for longer, like kind of 10k length runs, the Rebel Nitro is still really quick. I had a similar problem with this actually, both issues, because they are so lightweight. I think when it does come to holding fast paces for longer, I think I prefer a slightly maybe stiffer design, a carbon plate design, a slightly more bouncy design. But yeah, I think they're quite similar, but I think the Rebel V2 is a slightly better shoe than the Liberate. It is obviously £30 more, but yeah, not having those worries about the longer runs, I think, would make it an option I consider if you love everything about this shoe, but are worried about it not being cushioned enough for longer runs or the heel irritation. Then the Rebel V2 would be top of my list to check out. Overall, it's a thumbs up for Liberate Nitro. It's not a shoe I intend to use much going forward, but it's a nice, fun shoe to have. It's the kind of shoe I actually would throw in a bag if I'm going on holiday and I'm just planning to do a few short runs somewhere, because I do enjoy running in it, and it is lightweight, and the design's quite nice, even if it's not in that kind of lovely red that you did get on the Velocity Nitro. So yeah, all in all, another really good shoe from Puma. Do fix the heel issues on your next on all the kind of follow-ups to these shoes. Like if they didn't have this, then the Liberate and Deviate would be some of my favourite shoes of the year. As it is, the Velocity is the one that really stands out because I had no heel irritation from it. So, but yeah, all in all, Puma's having a really strong year, and the Liberate Nitro is definitely a part of that. That's it, guys. That is our review of the Puma Liberate Nitro. We're also going to put together a quick video comparing the Liberate to the Velocity directly, as I think they're two of the best value new shoes out there this year. But other than that, please like, subscribe, ring the little bell so you get notified whenever we do a new video. And yeah, we'll see you next time.